In Havana, the Cuban people's right to choose their political and social system was supported, as was their claim to the territory occupied by the naval base of Guantanamo.
The demonstrators were primarily middle-aged Cuban Americans, with the largest contingent coming from the Cuban colony in New Jersey. There was little trouble, lots of slogans and chanting. There was a tense moment shortly before noon when one man in the crowd said something pro-Castro. The demonstrators got excited and the man ran inside the nearby Holy Family Church. Police and rally organizers calmed down the crowd. As the morning moved on and into the afternoon, more demonstrators joined the group, estimated by midday to number 3,000 persons. They marched with a huge Cuban flag. They hanged Castro in effigy. They shouted and sang. The most emotional moment came when Castro's sister Juanita, who had flown up from Miami last night, addressed the crowd. She also told reporters why she was here.
We are here tonight to protest for the presence of the tyrant of our country here in the United Nations, because he's trying there, he's the satellite of the Soviet Union, trying to demonstrate to the world that he is a non-aligned government, and we are here to say to everybody the truth, that he is the satellite star from the Soviet Union in this continent.
It was not the enormous show of strength leaders of the anti-Castro forces had hoped for, but it was peaceful and organized, and a way for these people to vent their emotions, to try and counter with their voices the man speaking at the rostrum of the General Assembly just across the street. At the United Nations in New York, Bob Beers, Channel 4 News.
Torch of Friendship in Bayfront Park for a rally to protest Castro's presence in this country. Diana Gonzalez is standing by with our Live Eye unit and has this report.
Behind me is a display of the real reason the local Cuban community is so upset about Fidel Castro's visit to the U.S. 200 white crosses with the names of those who have died because of the Cuban Revolution, only a fraction of those that have been killed within the past 20 years. Over 400 persons have already gathered here, and now the group is gearing up for the main purpose of this demonstration. At 7 o'clock, local community leaders will read aloud a letter of protest denouncing the United Nations. Part of the text reads, "We protest that the United Nations, an organization to defend and instill peace and justice, would invite a man who opposes that peace and justice." Earlier today, the cry of protest around Miami was a silent one. At Coral Way Elementary School, where 90% of the student body is Hispanic, daily activities went on as usual, but on the wrist of many of the kids, black ribbons were tied in bows. Others wore black armbands demonstrating their dislike of Castro's visit. Along the streets of Little Havana, a massive reaction was expected. All of the businesses had been asked to shut down, but less than half were closed. But some local places, like the Joyeria Fabulosa, made no qualms about displaying their protest. Other shops hung more discreet symbols of demonstration. By this afternoon, it was estimated that 40% of the Cuban business in Little Havana had closed for the day. Here at Bayfront Park, the crowds are growing, some chanting "Cuba yes, Castro no." Organizers here expect thousands of local Cuban exiles will gather within the next hour. I'll have a full report on the demonstration on The World Tonight. Diana Gonzalez reporting live from Bayfront Park.
Yeah. the day he launched his revolution. It was marked at a White House gathering today with Miami resident Juanita Castro calling her brother nothing but a tyrant.
Every single day for the past 25 years, he has been in power, doing just the opposite of what he promised before and swore he would do.
Along with Juanita Castro in Washington, some Cuban political prisoners released last month. They presented National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane with a plaque in appreciation of President Reagan's hard line against communism.
Thousands turned out today at Fort Lauderdale's